Hi, I'm Phil, and today I'm going to have a look at the next project in the Elecfreaks Microbit Space Science Kit. So we'll go off the projects and have a look at the projects we're working on. So these are based on the case studies from the Elecfreaks wiki page. And the one that I'm going to look at today is Case5 Lunar vehicles. And I've got a new version of this, version 9, which is going to include transmission from the rover on the moon back to an Earth station. So let's have a look at my desktop. Well, the picture you can see at the moment is on the Elecfreaks website for the rover. But I'm going to modify this because it takes too long to construct that mechanically. So this is my version, and this is the rover, and I'm testing it here on a robot mat. So it's got an ultrasonic sensor to detect obstacles in front of it, and it has a microbit computer that does all the controls. This is what it looks like on the side. And the total setup for this version includes another microbit, which is the Earth station. So that looks like, let's have a look. We've got our rover, and our rover plus on the left, we've got the Earth microbit. So we're going to transmit data from the rover even while it's moving. And there it is, there's our Earth. And the data from the Earth sends it down via RS-23, sends it by USB bus to the Makecode, where it shows the data as a graph. So let's have a look at the objectives here. Okay, so the objective is to learn how to make a lunar exploration vehicle, or LEM. And we're going to learn how to navigate to a exploratory site on the moon. We'll collect and display the data, and we will collect data on the ultraviolet radiation, temperature, and humidity. We'll display the data, and we'll transmit that data to the Earth station via radio. And we'll provide a stop if we detect an obstacle in our path. The Earth station, when it receives the data via radio, it's going to display that on the Makecode graph. And we'll learn the difference between different signals, analog, digital, and I2C. The mechanical construction, well, I'm not using the technique and construction method that Elecfreaks use. I'm going to use a much simpler one. And in programming, our students will learn to write a program to control the rover, and they'll be using functions, interlocks, state variables, event programming. They can put comments on their program. They'll learn how to map the hardware ports in software. They'll look at calibration, variables, debugging, reusing software, and that includes using libraries and accessing those libraries via APIs on Makecode. They'll also have a look at version control. So I'm calling this version 9, and they'll be looking at communications, radio communications, and serial comms over USB. And they'll also optimize performance, because we're going to ask our rover to do quite a lot. It's not only navigating, but it's also going to transmit data. And the design will be using the push buttons Uh, and the hardware-wise, from Elecfreaks, we'll use the Space Science Kit with a microbit, and we'll be using version 2 of the Nisha adapter. Sensors, we'll be using the Sonar sensor, the line tracker. An option is the soil moisture, but I won't be putting that in. There's just not enough room on our GPIO ports for all of these devices. But I will include the DHT11, which measures temperature and humidity. I'll be using the UV sensor, and you'll note there's a difference in the color of the port. So yellow means it's going to have to go into an analog port of microbit, which means it'll go into J1. Okay, so actuators, I'll be using the DC motors and the Oli. And all of these devices come with the Elecfreaks Space Science Kit. Cables, we need RJ11 cables and USB cables. And Lego parts, well, I'm not going to use any parts from the Space Science Kit. I'll be using my own for the rapid construction. But I will be using a map, and this is my lunar exploratory map. Microbit and Lego. I'll be using a frame where I mount all of the components to construct my rover. So that's Lego-wise. Connection, well, it looks like this. This will be my vehicle. And let's say this is the one that is suggested by the Elecfreaks wiki. And this is my version of that. So you'll see that I've got quite a lot of sensors connected on the right, and all of the ports, GPI ports, are all used. Only one of the I to C ports is used, and that's used for the display. And both motors are connected on the bottom. Okay, so let's have a look. You'll need a UV lamp if we're going to detect UV radiation. Okay, for software, there's two lots of software. One is for the rover, and the other one is for the Earth. So let's have a look at the code for our rover. And this is what it looks like. So we might go across now. We'll just leave it here. And you can see the code starts off on the top left with the on start, where I announce the version. And I'm also initializing the motor and the variables for rover move, the speed, the normal speed, high speed, and also the counts. So the count environment is going to be incremented every minute, and it will display that and transmit it via radio. So I'm setting my radio group to 1, and I'm clearing the display and showing on the Oli display the version number. Okay, so if we move down, when I press button A, I'm going to move the rover. And if I want to abort it, I'd simply press button B. In the forever loop, if the state variable rover move is true, it will measure the distance to see if there's an obstacle in front of it. And if there's no obstacle, it then steers the rover using the tracking sensor, the line tracking sensor, and it looks at the pattern, and it will turn on the motors depending on which pattern it gets. Okay, I've got other functions. So I've got a function for transmit data to. Now, in this version, I'm not using that function, but I've kept it there as part of my debugging. And the problem is that if I try to do too much when I'm driving the rover, I might crash my software. Okay, so there's another function which I'm also not going to use, and that's collecting the temperature and humidity and UV and displaying that on the OLI screen. But I will be using this interrupt. So every 60 seconds, 1 minute, I'll be showing an E on the OLI display. I will increment the environmental count and transmit that count via radio. I'll also get the temperature from my DHT11 and I'll transmit that too. So there isn't enough time to for everything to work before it then interrupts it in another second. So if I wanted to send more data, I would have to increase that transmission time, which is now an interrupt. That's the block in green on the bottom right. Okay, so that's our software for the rover. And we've also got software for our Earth station. So when we set this to group 1, right on the right, we've got a pink block there. And underneath that, it's checking to see the type of data. So it's actually going to accept data from the temperature sensor, the humidity, and the UV. And the last one is the count, the environmental count. It gets all of that. And it also, if you look at the forever, it's going to show the latest count. And every 30 seconds, it's going to call transmit data, and it transmits that data to the Makecode graph where I display the temperature, humidity, and UV. But bear in mind, I'm not transmitting the humidity and UV. So it's actually quite a simple program, this one. Okay, so what were the results of all that? Well, everything worked, but I had to do some performance measurement. If I tried to do too much, I would crash my software. So, and I couldn't display all the data on the OLI display because there just wasn't enough time to do that. The Earth station, I only measured the temperature and transmitted that. So I was able to create the Earth station. It was receiving data, although a reduced set. I looked at the difference between analog, digital, and I2C, and I performed a quicker technique for constructing the rover. I learned a fair bit of software, and these are all the techniques, including a lot of debugging and checking my performance. On the Earth station, I was able to look at the measurements that were transmitted from the Earth graphically. Some of the issues, well, the time to construct mechanical stage 1 and stage 2 gives you an idea how long it takes to do this project. Extensions, you could use other sensors, but bear in mind you're getting towards the limit of your niche adapter. And let's have a look. Measure. You could use alternative measurements. So the measurements we've got, there's no air on the moon, so it's really pointless using the sensors that we've used. It would be far better to use a temperature probe and use that on the surface and also drill a hole and put our probe under the surface. So that's our project. So stay tuned and I'll give you a desktop demonstration. This is our lunar vehicle, and it's based on a microbit computer here that sits on top of an Anisha version 2 adapter, and that connects to various ports by RJ11 cables like these ones. And on this side we go to GPIO. The first one is an analog, so it has to be a yellow port. There we are, and that's measuring UV, ultraviolet radiation. And we're also measuring the temperature and humidity, and we're displaying those results on the OLI display here, which you can just see here. There we are, we're measuring temperature, humidity and UV. And we're driving it with motors. So if I turn it upside down, you can see the motors that are here and how we're using the dual line follower to track the lunar path. Okay, so we might actually give it a demonstration. So we'll also have a sonar sensor on the front, and that will stop the motors if there's an obstacle in the way. Okay, so we're ready to fire up. When it says E, it means that it's taking an environmental measurement. When we press button A, we start our lunar vehicle, and if it goes off track, it will just stop. Turn on power, and it's announcing itself on the LED display, and it's now ready. After ready, taking an environmental measurement, and we'll start it. And we'll stop it when it reaches the obstacle. Here we have the Lunar Rover collecting data. So on the top here we've got a DHT11, and that measures temperature and humidity. And we also have a UV sensor on the front, and we have a OLI display also on the front. And we've got a sonar detector, and all of that goes into the microbit, and the microbit is transmitting by radio the temperature and the count data to Earth, and the microbit that collects that data shows that data on the Makecode screen. So we might have a look at that on the computer here. So what we're doing is collecting the data and showing the temperature. Now we just had a change, so that's reading 109, and the temperature is 34 degrees.